Welcome to the new brand, the Buffalo Bootleg, on the Buffalo Fanatics channel. Max Elephant in the room. New name. Some people probably saw, if you are following on the Bills guys Twitter, they mentioned that we got hit with a cease and desist letter from the Buffalo Bills, and it was just strongly encouraged that everybody with the word Bills in their name change it to avoid any further issues. So Max here came up with this name, the Buffalo Bootleg. So we got a brand new name. Max, anything to add to that?
Sorry, you cut out for me there. What'd you say?
Whoops, sorry. So anything, any comments you'd like to add to the whole fiasco?
Well, yeah, we sorry, the internet's a little choppy today, but we'll get that sorted out. Yeah, we're the Buffalo Bootleg now. The Bills emailed us. They were like, "Hey, you guys are too big. You're too powerful. You guys are shaking up Bills media. We don't like it. You guys are just too influential and powerful. We need you to change because you're making the Pagulas feel a little insecure. People aren't going to them for news, and instead they're going to the Buffalo Fanatics. We can't have that. So you got to take Bills out of the name. We got a couple. We had some names that we talked about, but we didn't end up finalizing. You want to talk about some of those, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, and you kind of came up with, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, our first idea was just like Bills with a Z, change the S to a Z. Bills Overdue, yeah. Billz, and then Rico and Pierre were like,
absolutely
"No, that's don't do that." And I was like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, I don't want that either. It's like if you're in middle school, that's cool, but
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not happening.
I was thinking defensive penetration with Jeremy and Max.
Max, I gotta put it up here before me. News says, "Did you email them back and tell them to cut Winters?"
Yeah, actually, yeah, we should have bargained with them a little bit. Yeah, that was our mistake. We should have bargained with them because we had all the power at our fingertips. We just bargained a little bit. Actually, no, they kind of hit us with the cease and desist. We didn't really have any option. Never mind.
Once all this was done, I thought of the Buffalo prohibition. Just to kind of jab back at them a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah.
I said fling the pigskin with Jeremy and Max, and then Jeremy was like, "Nope, that is terrible." That's probably bad. I think my best idea was, besides defensive penetration, which is just comedy gold. I think the OJ didn't do it pod would have been it would have been good. I think it would have turned a lot of heads. The OJ didn't do it pod.
Would we just discuss our theories of the whole incident every week?
Yeah. We just go off on wild conspiracy theories and stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. But oh well, sometimes change is good. And sometimes forced change by fear of a lawsuit is also good.
It's very good.
So Max, I wanna get our reactions to the Bills 49ers game because it was awesome. And first, I would like to let's get the bad out of the way. All right. And because there's almost very little. And in fact, like, I challenge you to try and be nitpicky and find the bad in this game because there's not really a lot. So do you have a starting point you want to do?
Yeah, I mean,
the bad takeaways you came away with.
The bad was the the first drive of the game. Ryan, we plow right down the field. That wasn't the bad part, obviously. And we're at the 1 yard line, 4th and goal. Brian Dable goes into his bag of tricks. I think he literally just has his little knapsack, and there's a bunch of tricky card games in there, and he pulls one out, and it's a touchdown. It's a attempted touchdown pass to Ryan Bates. The return of Ryan Bates. Apparently Ryan Bates just plays football for the Bills just to score trick play touchdowns. But actually, the 49ers did their scouting, and they're like, nope, we're not going to allow this. They had Ryan Bates covered pretty well. And then, so Josh
Wait,
Allen
Ryan
goes to his
Bates
second.
was going out. Did I miss this?
No, Ryan Bates was going out for the pass.
Was it like one of those
The
fake
first,
where he
the
like
first,
registered?
yeah, like he was in the game. He was trying to, like, it was the first play of the game where Josh Allen throws it to Lee Smith, but it goes out of the back of the end zone. His first read there was to Ryan Bates. He was eligible as a receiver. Looked him off. Looks to Lee Smith in the back of the end zone. Lee Smith is an idiot and doesn't sit down in the hole. You can literally see Josh is like waving at him like no, stop. There's literally a defender there. Just sit in that hole, sit in that gap. And then Josh Allen throws a bullet, and it's off the money because Lee Smith. That's Lee Smith's fault for not sitting down in that hole. So that was the bad because it was 4th and goal. Then the 49ers take the lead. And then the other bad, Zach Moss fumble.
Yeah, that's all I really had. It was good that we moved the ball in the first drive. Bad that we failed to convert. Bad again that we let the 49ers go all the way down. But good that they failed to convert. And then bad that we immediately fumbled. And then bad that we let the 49ers score. So yeah, the very first few minutes were quite frustrating. However, after that, I don't really have anything else negative.
It was a wild opening sequence. I don't know if I've ever seen that before where, the first team that gets the ball, the Bills, they go down right to the goal line and they get stuffed, turn it over on downs at the goal line. And the 49ers, they take the ball, they go 99 yards and do the exact same thing where they get stuffed at the goal line. Like I don't think I've ever seen back-to-back consecutive goal line stands like that before. Have you ever seen that? It was just wild.
But I also
and
watch
then obviously
just Bills games.
That's true.
My only other bad, and I'm going to pull up Richards here, was Levi Wallace. Not a fan favorite after the game, Max. Are you okay?
Listen, I think everyone's just ragging on him for the deep ball to, I think it was Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers receiver. Maybe it was a different 49er receiver. But yeah, listen, he got beat on that play. That was it. All right. What else did Levi do wrong? I think listen, Levi did his role.
Multiple other receptions.
He was solid, though. I think he was solid. I don't think he was terrible in this game. I think if you're, I don't know. I'm a Levi stan. I don't think he got exploited too heavily other than on that deep ball. That's just my biased opinion because I love Levi. Would you rather have Josh Norman in there? The exact same thing would happen to Josh Norman.
So that was kind of a question I was going to say for later for this Steelers game was, who do you want to see at CB2? Do we want to see somebody else get a shot? I think we know who that other person is, or does Levi give another shot? What do you think about the next game, Max?
You know what? I like CR's comment here. Cornerback is a tough position to play. You try doing what Levi Wallace does. But no, Josh Norman, we saw what happened in that Tennessee game. He got absolutely bullied all day by A.J. Brown on that touchdown pass. If you remember that way back when the Bills, had that first loss of the season against the Titans. And obviously we know about the Josh Norman stiff arm into oblivion by Derrick Henry, but that's just Derrick Henry being Derrick Henry. But Josh Norman was exploited all day in that game. I don't want to go. Basically, Josh Norman's high point with the Bills was that fumble force against the Raiders. Other than that, nothing else has jumped out off the screen with Norman. You got to stick with Levi. Listen, Levi's not a shutdown cornerback too. We know what Levi is. He can have good games and he can have kind of bad-ish games. For the 49ers, it was a kind of bad-ish game, but it wasn't like he lost the game for us.
No, I don't think he lost it. I mean, the offense was moving the ball really well, so I mean, it was affordable, I guess. But I think a lot of us are still happy to see Dane Jackson, or we want to see Dane Jackson. I would like to see Dane Jackson get a start.
Everyone in the comments is clamoring for Dane Jackson, and rightfully so. Give the rookie a chance.
Absolutely. Any more negatives, takeaways from the game, Max? I don't really have any.
Negatives.
How about zero
first
sacks?
Of all,
right? We didn't sack Nick Mullins at all.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, that's true. We didn't sack him at all, but I wouldn't count that in the negative category because we got pressure on him pretty much all day. Like
Yeah.
we didn't get home, we didn't get those sacks, but we forced him out of the pocket and made him uncomfortable many times.
Yeah. I wouldn't say bad. I guess I would
So
just say
I don't see that as a
unfortunate.
negative. I thought it was a good
It's
pass rush
unfortunate.
effort. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if you look at the
Yeah.
box score and you see 0 sacks, you're like, oh man, they didn't get any pressure on him. But no, watching the game film, like he felt uncomfortable, and Nick Mullins made
Yeah.
mistakes as we saw.
Yeah. How about the good? You want to move on to the good things about this game?
Actually, one more bad thing. One more bad thing. How in the world were the 49ers favorites by what, like a point? 49ers were favorites according to Vegas.
They started off
absolutely bonkers.
We started off as the favorites, and then somehow it drifted to them for like why? Like I remember we kind of talked about it last game, but it was like, what happened that they were like, oh, hold on a second, 49ers might actually have a chance. Like they knew going in there with like they had the injuries, they had Nick Mullins, and I don't understand like how the line shifted like that.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Like you think of all the trouble the 49ers had to face, the adversity. They're playing in Arizona as a home game. Like, how are they the favorites at all? They were a 5-loss. No, they were a 6-loss team going into that game, I believe. So yeah, absolutely makes no sense. But Buffalo versus everybody. We embrace it. Buffalo Fanatics. That was dumb, though. We're favored against the Steelers, though. We're favored by 2.5. Yes.
That is interesting. I mean, it is a home game. Doesn't like a home game automatically get you like 3? So I guess this means if it was like equal turf, then they would be favored by like half a point. But yeah. So the good things. Are we good to go on to the good now, Max?
Yes. Now, and there
were
many good things.
Yeah. One of the first things I had written down was that not only can Josh Allen help Brian Winters with his job. Remember the highlight where Winters is getting like blown up from like a week or two ago, and Allen just like keeps shifting side to side, and kind of keeps Winters in between them. So I thought not only can like Josh Allen help Brian Winters do his job, but he can also help the refs with their job. Did you see the play where like Stephon Diggs is getting like held or something, and like during the play, like Josh Allen like points it out and does the symbol, and then still like continues on with the play. It was funny.
Josh Allen,
that's not the first time. Last year, I think he was like he was getting tackled or something, and he started doing like a face mask thing as he was going down or before he got tackled. But so yeah, Josh Allen is he helps people out. He's a team player. Even he helps his own team. He helps the refs. Good for him.
Like, when you think of Josh Allen, he's actually not like a do your own job type of guy. He's a guy that wants to do everyone's jobs, but in a good way. Like he wants to be the ref. He wants to be the officials. He wants to be the coaching staff. He wants to go in there and block for people if he wants. So that's what's my favorite thing about Josh Allen. He's really willing to accept any role on the football team in order to win you games. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, like you talk about that play where he's pointing out like Stephon Diggs gets absolutely obliterated on a hold call. It's like, yeah, that should be a penalty. He's like, but as he's running, he's like, that looks like a penalty to me.
He's like that little kid in class. Like if you're a parent, maybe this is your kid, or maybe you just like remember this from grade school. But he's that kid who's like a good student, but he just wants to help everybody all the time, and maybe doesn't always like focus like on his own thing. It's just like, hey, like I appreciate what you're doing, but you know, in football they say you got to do like your 1/11. Don't try to do like everybody else's job. And like that's Josh Allen. He's just always trying to do more.
He's always trying to do more. But I wouldn't say he's neglecting his own responsibilities by any stretch of the imagination.
Correct.
Because
so not the perfect metaphor, because he's not neglecting his. He's still doing it, but it's like he's got time. Micah Hyde.
Josh Allen. Oh my God!
I was gonna say, you have more about Josh Allen. Sorry, we can say.
We just gotta talk about Josh Allen because we were kind of just talking about. I don't even know what we're talking about, but Josh Allen, 32 for 40. This was, everyone was saying after the game that this might be his best game as a professional in the league. He was freaking sensational. Well, the thing I was most impressed with was his ability to throw on the run. There were so many times in that first half, especially where he gets pressured, he rolls out to the right. His eyes are still downfield, and he's making a laser throw down the field for 30 yards. There's plays where he's stepping up in the pocket on the run. So his ability to make plays maybe not that aren't scripted for him where, you have to extend it a little bit. He can extend plays and make throws to his guys. Like he was everywhere today. Not today, but last week.
At halftime,
he was awesome.
At halftime, he already had 236 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. If that's Lamar Jackson, he'd probably be like, "Well, I'm done throwing for the day. Like that's good enough," and he'd probably just hand it off and run. I would imagine.
He's one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league right now. I'm not afraid to say that at all. Like he's right behind Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and then it's Josh Allen.
Like, Aaron Rodgers, absolutely. Those are the top 2.
Yeah,
he's up there. Absolutely, I would agree.
And then maybe
it's crazy.
Yeah,
where's Russell? What happened to Russell Wilson? I don't. What are his stats now? Because
like he lit the league on fire for the first 5-6 weeks, and then he started throwing some more interceptions. And that's that Bills game obviously killed him. He had like 3 turnovers versus the Bills. I think one of them was a pick. Maybe 2 of them were picks. But yeah, I think he just started throwing more picks.
Yeah, and then he lost to the Giants, so I think that automatically knocked him down a little bit. I think the football people were like, "Okay, sorry, you're suspended from MVP discussions for the rest of the week." So I don't think you're allowed to talk about Russell Wilson right now because of that Giants loss. So
Richard Forbes is very upset here, and you know what? I give you full right to be upset, Richard Forbes. He says in all caps, "I'm the only person coming into the season that had Josh throwing for 70% this year. I got beat up in the chats. Nobody thought it was happening." Well, I'm patting you on the back, Richard Forbes. Good job. You called it. Josh Allen's at 69%. That's a nice completion percentage. He's doing awesome. And you called it, Richard. Good job. I'm going to give you that recognition.
I mean, I wouldn't have beaten somebody up for saying 70% because he went from 52 to 58 in one season, and 58 last season I don't even think was like entirely like I wouldn't have gone off 58 because he had multiple games where he was over 60%. So I know like that's how it averages out and that's how it ends, but I think adjusted completion percentage, but if we gave him like 6 more points, was that 64? 70% is not crazy. So I don't think I was beating you up, Richard.
I don't think I was either. We all wanted him to skyrocket into that completion percentage. He's 4th in the league in completion percentage now. And by the way, Richard Forbes, I think you accidentally turned on your caps lock, because John Banks was a good note here. The lowercase I on that first.
Yes.
So turn your caps off. Turn your caps lock off. Just turn it off, man.
I like to stay on the offense.
In the world.
Max, Cole Beasley, you okay? Everything good? You there? We good? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm cutting out here.
Okay.
I'm good now. I'm sorry.
Okay? Okay.
Wi-Fi is a little suspect for me right now. But what, Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley was killing
Cole Beasley had an awesome game. I don't even know what else to say about it. He did fantastic. Isaiah McKenzie had another big boy real touchdown as I go back and forth between calling him. But I kind of want to talk about him and Gabriel Davis because they both had 2 like just perfectly wide open touchdowns. And that had to be like super frustrating if you're like a 49ers fan. Thank you, John Banks, for the super chat of $4.99. I don't know if you accidentally forgot to not put a comment in there, but you can. But thank you very much. But yeah, that had to be super frustrating if you're a 49ers fan, seeing like 2 touchdowns like that happen where they're basically like wide open.
Yeah, and like I'm gonna call you out, Jeremy, because you're like literally last week where you're like, I don't know about Isaiah McKenzie, man. His jet sweeps aren't getting open. He's not involved in the offense. I don't like Isaiah McKenzie. Boo hoo. And then this week he has this amazing play drawn up by Brian Daboll. He's running, down to the bottom of the screen. The ball's snapped, and there's like a little natural pick play with Gabriel Davis, which leaves him wide open. And so you're wrong there, Jeremy.
I have
Isaiah
mentioned
McKenzie's still awesome.
I have mentioned that I am a bit of a jinx sometimes. So I think that was another case. Uh, Again, John Banks with another one, just time paying us to let us know that it was intentional. So we appreciate it. You don't have to super chat every comment, but I mean, hey, go for it.
Hey, we
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
So yeah, like I said, I am a bit of a jinx, and it happens. Um, anything else? Anything else
Jeremy,
in the offense? Yeah,
um, Gabriel Davis, another nice performance today. I'm
he
feeling
did.
as every week goes by, like I'm feeling more and more confident that Gabe Davis can develop into like, that next, if we eventually get rid of John Brown or a Cole Beasley, like he can step right up and he can fill that target share. So I feel very optimistic for the future with Gabe Davis. Just wanted to make note of that.
Yeah, I did put in my notes that he did have like another game where he kind of stepped up in the absence of John Brown. Um, yeah, so he's doing
Plus,
good. People kept calling for it like every time John Brown was hurt. And I didn't think he was doing it too much, but he's done it like 2 games in a row now, and that's awesome. I'm happy about it.
he's always got a touchdown celebration planned. Like, you got to have confidence in a guy when they always know they're going to get a touchdown and they can have one choreographed out in their head so that in the heat of the moment when they catch a touchdown, they don't just forget about it. They just do it because they know
Yeah.
they're going to score touchdowns. So that's pretty cool.
Speaking of that, Max, heat of the moment, you just score a touchdown. What's your celebration?
I don't know. I just run on. If it's the heat of the moment, I'm not going to remember any sort of celebration I planned beforehand. I'm just going to like run
Anything come to
around
you
on
right
the
now?
field. I think I just sprint towards Josh Allen and have him just like bear
Just
hug
like,
me.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
so you turn
I
around,
just
you
be
like you
like,
run towards him.
I just be like, I did it, Dad. I did it, Dad. He just like hugs me.
I'd be afraid like my total whiteness would just come out and I would do a dance and it would just look awful. But like probably just do like one of these. Yeah, that's an easy one where you kind of like do something like that. I probably just did it
Yeah.
right there. So anyways, you mentioned heat of the moment, so
I
there you
think
go.
either that or I would I'd probably do I'd run up to the goalpost with the ball and instead of dunking it, I'd do a little layup because I wouldn't be able to dunk it at all over the goalpost. I'd just do a nice little layup.
Yep.
Probably wouldn't even go over the crossbar. But
Anything else with the offense you want to throw in there?
All right, I'm kind of sick of people think the Bills can't run the ball. I think the Bills can run the ball. Like people are saying like, oh, we don't have a good rushing attack. We've shown in games, in like that Patriots game, I think it was the Chargers game too. Like we can run the ball if we have to. Like it's not necessarily the thing that we do best, but we can win games that way. That's not our most lethal offense, but like when we want to keep the defense honest, like I think we can run the ball.
Yeah,
Like we're a complete team.
I think about the Seahawks game. If the passing game is working well, do it. Like I don't care about like being balanced for the sake of balance. Like if you want to pass the ball, like I think a lot of people agree, like that's our identity, that's what we're leaning towards. Do it. So yeah, if we don't if we're not running too much, who cares? Like look at how the passing's working out. Like that's probably why we're not running so much. But yeah, I'm totally happy with just passing it, and if we're not getting a lot of runs in, that's fine. I don't think that was the plan, like drafting 2 running backs back to back in the 3rd round. I think they plan on like having a better like run game, but the offensive line, the way it's been shaking out with injuries, and again, just how well the passing game has been working, like I just go with it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But I have one last thing for the offense. Actually, a couple things. Knox, stock going up a little bit. His bar was really low.
Yeah.
So last week when he just did like a 2-yard touchdown pass, this week another touchdown and like 4 completions for 27. That's still progress. So, and he almost had a second one in the game. Like he had another like little click to him. But so Knox, good on him. And I heard on another podcast, it was the Rock Pile Report. I want to credit them, but they said there was a play where Lee Smith pushed Brian Winters out of the way during a play because he was just like getting blown up or not blocking very well. So like Lee Smith like pushed him out of the way to block. Like I put it in our Buffalo Fanatics chat. Like I'd asked if anybody saw that play. Like I didn't see it. I don't like go back and
I
rewatch
did
it.
not
So I'm
see
curious
that.
if anybody else saw that. It sounds awesome. Um, I don't know. I might have to like message
I
them and
like
ask them for like the timestamp.
I really like that because it's like Lee Smith's recognized that he's not the most hated player on this Bills roster anymore. There's a new guy we can all bully, and he's like, oh, if I'm not the guy everyone hates, I'm gonna bully the guy that everyone hates so people like me more. It's a
We
good
should
play, smart play by Lee Smith there to get Bills Mafia on his side.
we should see if like Lee Smith has a Twitter and then message him and be like, hey, can you show Brian Winters like all this shit people are saying about him? And again, maybe the bullying will work for him like it
Yeah,
did for AJ Klein.
bullying
And
works. Bullying works.
speaking of AJ Klein, let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. Our weekly AJ Klein-o-meter reading. He kind of had a quiet game. I don't think it was like
Yeah, quiet.
bad. It wasn't great.
And it's
He
because
almost
Matt Milano was back. He wasn't on the field as much, you know?
yeah he almost had an interception. And with the way like he's been doing these last few games, I was like, if this dude got an interception, like Bills fans would be asking him like for an OnlyFans account. Like, it's like get one going. We'll subscribe to it. Put whatever you want on there. But he didn't get the interception, but he did assist in an interception. That should be a new stat, like assist, where you don't get the
Oh,
interception.
yeah, that
but
one.
yeah,
Yep.
it was it Ayuk or I think where he kind of just like
I think it was Ayuk. He didn't bring it in all the way, and then
bounced
Klein
out
laid the
and then
wood, gave him a big hit.
yeah, Klein like the ball bounced off his elbow and into Micah Hyde. So he did have the assist. Micah Hyde with the interception, almost a pick six. Like that Seattle game, like with White, they got so close. It was like within like 10 yards. And if, Micah Hyde retires and is still feeling healthy, I think he could have a professional wrestling career because did you see that like damn near pile
Oh,
driver
yeah.
suplex he laid on that 49ers
Yeah, that
guy?
suplex. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was smart heady play by Micah Hyde there. He was the only one that realized no one touched Ayuk. He's not down. Ayuk gets up, is ready to run, and Micah Hyde says no to that.
He was getting up, but like
Suplexed
Hyde
on
was
the
right
ground.
there. And I thought when I first wrote it down, if I was like exaggerating on the tackle, but I saw a replay of it like today or yesterday, like no, he like lifts him off the ground, and it's definitely a bit of a suplex. So
Yeah,
that was awesome
for sure. That was awesome. Yeah, AJ Klein, Matt Milano was back. We're finally healthy on the defensive side. Levi, Matt Milano, all these guys, Tremaine Edmonds, shoulders healthy. Like all these guys were finally healthy, and you saw it. The defense played with an edge. They looked like last year's defense, and that's what I'm most excited about. It's funny, like last year when I watched Bills games, I got more excited about when the offense did well than when the defense did well because I expected last year the defense to do well, and I expected the offense to have a little trouble. This year, it's the opposite. I'm more excited when the defense does well than when the offense does well because we've become to expect Josh Allen to throw it around the yard and hit all these guys for huge gains, and we haven't expected the defense to show up as much. I think we're back. We're back to that. We're a complete team now. Our defense is back to what it was last year. I'm most excited. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is the most excited I've been on a vidcast all year. As a complete team, I think we are Super Bowl contenders, and I think we can hang with anybody in the conference. I think we can beat Pittsburgh this week. I think we can give Kansas City a run for their money, and I think we can go to the Super Bowl. I genuinely feel it. And I'm so pumped.
I want to pull up a comment, and I'm not trying to this is an easy mistake. Jeremiah Barkley says, how about that massive Darrell Williams tackle for loss and that blown run play? I think you mean Darrell Johnson, which is a mistake I make too. We have so many guys with like the same last name. Yeah, it's so similar. But Darrell Johnson, I had that written down because he's been kind of quiet this season. So that was an awesome play from him. They had like a handoff to somebody, and he had a guy like kind of blocking for him, and Darrell Johnson just like reached past him and like grabbed the runner like around the shoulder. And if you watch the replay, you can see the guy blocking, like trying to still block, and you see him just give up. He's like, I fucked up. And the blocker just gives up. Darrell Johnson brings it on. So that was an awesome play.
Darrell Johnson's like sneakily, like he's so capable of making these awesome plays. Like you see it on special teams all the time. He's making big plays on special teams all the time. And he's kind of a guy that we forget about, but like I feel like he's a guy that people really would respect and love in the locker room just because he's makes huge plays at big time moments. I'm thinking back to the Seattle game. He had a huge hit, on a kickoff return or something. That play was awesome. Yeah, literally 10 yards in the backfield. No one could stop Daryl Johnson.
The Raiders game had a good pressure / quarterback sack as well, right?
I can't remember that one, but I'm sure it happened.
Yeah, it was a bit way back, but he had one.
Our defensive line, like we're getting contributions from everybody, guys that we don't expect. Like think about it this whole year. No one expected Justin Zimmer to punch that ball out on Cam Newton. Like Justin Zimmer's not a guy that we expected to contribute. Vernon Butler last week, he had a huge hit on the goal line on the San Francisco running back. Vernon Butler.
Yeah, a good stop.
Daryl Johnson.
You could hear it too. You heard the impact.
Oh yeah. It's great that we got a great rotation on that defensive line. Guys are fresh. They're coming in with an edge and they're making big plays.
Speaking of this defensive line, a question. I think I had this question last week. I don't know if I asked it or not, but I'm wondering if like Trent Murphy could possibly be released as the end of the season gets closer. My reason, I mean, he's now been a healthy scratch for the third time, second time in a row. We've already paid him, I believe, the money that he's going to get. So I wonder, it's like, so do you want to, if you're going to pay him anyways, do you want to pay him to take up a roster spot or free one up? And just with the way the season's going, it's like, why not just free up that roster spot? Like the money's not changing regardless. Bring somebody else up. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea. I don't know if it's a good idea to do it so late in the season. Like Trent Murphy's not worth the money we pay him. We know that. But is it worth it to shake up the roster? You shake up that defensive line with the momentum they have right now. You know what I mean? Like he's just another guy.
He's not contributing to the momentum.
He is not. Yeah, he's been a healthy scratch. That's tough though. Like
because we have 5 defensive ends and we usually only carry 4 anyways. And if you're concerned about injuries, it's like you have guys, I believe, on the practice squad that you can elevate just in case or so on. Like, I mean, but if you're too worried, the only reason I can see is if you're worried about the injury, then you keep them just in case you got to bring them in. But again, I just wonder why not if again, pay him for the roster spot or to take one up. Just a question. He probably won't be, but I mean, look at last season before. We weren't afraid to release like Kelvin Benjamin and Nathan Peterman late in the season. It's like, you're not working out. We want to get people in here who can. Sorry, Max, did you want to bring that comment up?
I just pulled up Sean's comment. He's wondering what the contract is. Yeah, I believe it's about close to that $10 million a year range, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. Like
I said, I know we're paying him, but it's not going to change regardless. So it's like free up the roster spot or not. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely would be. I'd be happy to wake up one morning and see that Trent Murphy's been released. Like he's not a guy that Bills Mafia loves, and he's not worth the money that we're paying him. So yeah,
I agree. Anything else as far as the game went, Max? I think I hit all my points.
Yeah, I mean. The momentum right now, everyone in the national media is talking about the Bills now and the AFC. Everyone seems to see them as legit, and it feels good. It feels good to get that, get that praise. We did it on Monday Night Football, and we got more primetime matchups coming up, and it feels like this is the best part of the season when things are that playoff push, seeding. It's all about seeding now. It's not even about not making the playoffs. The Bills haven't clinched the playoffs yet, but in all likelihood, it's probably like 95% likely that they clinch the playoffs. So now we're looking at seeding. It's all about who can get that momentum heading into the postseason, and we have big games to get some momentum. So I can't wait. Yeah,
kind of want to get into some around the league news, Max.
Yeah,
and some of these could be a what the fuck. We'll see. Kind of want to like run through a few of them. You can tell me what you think. First off, did you see Baker Mayfield try to be Josh Allen, and they did like a trick play where he went out for a pass.
Yeah, he made a
Yeah,
nice
so Baker
catch.
Mayfield,
He made a nice
he
catch.
did. So he handed off, I think, to Jarvis Landry, and he goes out. Landry throws it, and Baker catches it for 6 whole yards. I think it was around midfield, not even close to the touchdown, but I think they saw it happen. I think they said Josh Allen do it twice, and Baker said, "I can do that." We win the Super
I just
Bowl.
got
Are
to
you going to get
interrupt
the
this real
red
quick.
charging? Go ahead. The red charging buffalo stripe tattooed on your head like your Twitter pic. You know what? I'm waiting for a cease and desist letter for that too. So I probably won't go that route.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm scared. I'm checking my email every day, my DMs for them to be like, "That's got to go too." Get it done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Baker Mayfield saw Josh Allen do it a couple times, and then he wanted to do it. He got 6 whole yards, and not taking anything away, they just demolished the Titans in that game. Every time you saw the score on the bottom, they scored another touchdown. So not taking anything away from him, but he tried to be like Josh Allen and he failed.
And I feel weird because I think in last week's vidcast, I said, like, I think the Browns are the team that I'm least afraid of to face in the playoffs. They're the team I want to face because I feel like we can beat the Browns easiest in the playoffs. And now this week, I'm like, what just happened? Like the Browns absolutely demolished the Titans. Like it's crazy to think about. Like the Browns demolished the Titans destroy us. Like all these things. The Titans are a weird team, and who they're able to beat and who they lose to. But yeah, it's so confusing, the NFL. The Browns look legit, like really legit now. So Baker Mayfield, that was a nice catch for a quarterback to make too. Like it's probably a super easy catch for a wide receiver, but that looked like a tough quarterback catch.
Yeah, that was weak. But speaking of the Browns, though, all the teams have been announcing their Walter Payton Man of the Year awards, and the Browns gave theirs to Myles Garrett. Did you hear that, Max?
I saw that, and I thought it was fake news. Like I thought it was just someone trolling me.
Yeah, what was your first reaction to it? What's the first thing that came to your mind?
I think the first thing that I saw was I saw like a meme, and it was like Mason Rudolph reading the news that Myles Garrett is the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and it was a picture of Mason Rudolph, and it had like his head caved in. So that was funny.
My first thought was like they're really trying to get people to forget that he almost possibly like could have gone to jail last season for what he did.
Roger Goodell was behind this. Like this was such a bad publicity incident for the NFL that they are like, okay, we gotta right the ship somehow.
Yeah, it was like the Browns were like, dude, you gotta like, and maybe, who knows, maybe Myles Garrett was like that too. He's like, I don't want that to be my image, so I'm gonna turn it up. But that's what I thought. I was like, you just really want people to forget about it, and I don't think anybody really is. Like, I still, I've heard a lot of good things about him, but sadly, like when you do something that bad, like it's gonna stick around for a while. But transitioning, the Jets also named their Walter Payton Man of the Year, and I don't know how Jetsy this is, Max, but it was a player that's not even on their team anymore. I think it was like Pierre. I think it was Pierre Desir, and they said like the nominations and stuff went in before he got cut, and so that was what happened. But I was like, what a Jets thing to do! Like their player isn't even playing for him anymore, or helping out the community, I guess, unless he's still there doing stuff. But
yeah,
good old Jets.
That's classic Jets. I think they're just trying to one up themselves each week of like, what's something just more embarrassing they can do? It's great for publicity. Honestly, I think more people know about the Jets now than they ever did probably in history because of all the bad publicity they're getting. Non-football fans are hearing about the Jets every day, and they're learning about them. So I think maybe this whole tanking job by the Jets and just the disaster after disaster they're suffering each week, it's a smart move from a PR standpoint. More people are knowing your name.
Yeah, and speaking of disasters, I have another thing I'd like to talk about the Jets, and that is that they almost won a game. They're so close, but then that metaphorical tank came in and was like, blew blew up. So the Jets and the Raiders found themselves in a situation where apparently this situation has happened 252 times, I think, where a team has more than 40 yards to go. There's 15 seconds or less left on the time clock, and they need a touchdown to win the game, basically. And I think what happened was the Jets was the first team where the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, said, I'm just going to send everybody blitzing. He just sent everybody instead of doing some type of like prevent defense. And he said that's like the first time that happened. And the Raiders ended up winning with very few seconds left.
Yeah.
Comment, question. Wait.
It's crazy to see the reactions. I don't think that's ever happened before with that zero blitz. No one saw that coming. And that was Greg Williams just being like, you know what? I'm the blitz guy. He loves blitzing. I was listening to part of my take this week, and I believe his nickname, I think he might have given this nickname to himself, but it's Dr. Heat. And so I guess when your nickname's Dr. Heat, you just always got to bring the heat. And he blitzed Derek Carr, and I don't understand why blitz there. Why blitz there? Henry Ruggs is wide open. You're just leaving your cornerback on an island, and you lose the game. It was a perfect tank job by the Jets, and I'm so happy they executed it.
I wonder if like Gase heard that and was even like, that's not a good call. Like Adam Gase, who's like probably like one of the dumbest coaches coaching right now. Like, here's a decision. It's like, are you sure? That doesn't sound very smart to me. And Greg Williams is like, I'm the DC. Like, let me do this. And he's like, okay. But and then Greg Williams gets fired the next day. And I feel like that brings up questions like, oh, so you guys are aware that you can remove these coaches.
It was such like that firing had to happen. But again, it was like, it was like 5 weeks too late. It's a miracle that Adam Gase still has a job, but I guess he's just able to pull magic tricks. Does he go into meetings with the Jets like front office and he just like starts doing like Houdini acts in front of them and be like, look at me, I'm a magician, I can do amazing things, like I'm an offensive wizard, and then they just fall under his spell? Because I don't think Adam Gase has charm. Because like a guy him, like you would think if you're gonna keep your job this long and be this bad at your job, you'd have to have charm. But he has there's no way he has charm. How does he do it? How does he fool these guys?
I think every Monday he goes in and he goes up to like, I don't know, maintenance, and he's like, hey, something's wrong with my keys. And they're like, what's wrong with them? And he's like, they're still opening the doors to this building every week. Like, is that supposed to be happening? And they're like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, they want you to keep them. But the comment I saw from somebody I liked is they said, more like, Doctor, take a seat. Yes. Amazing.
What a zinger. What a zinger there, Jeremiah.
But the comment I saw that I liked was somebody saying, like, don't fire Adam Gase. Like, keep him around so he can wear this like 0-16 season, like a like a Scarlet L or something. Like, let him go all the way like 0-16. Like, he deserves it. Like, don't let somebody else come in and try to salvage it and have to take the heat for it. And I totally agree with that. Like, keep him the rest of the season.
Yeah. He's gotta just be humiliated more. I definitely agree. Do we want to move on to the Patriots are dead? The Patriots are dead, Jeremy.
Last thing I will add before we move on is
okay.
What if in week 17? It's okay. I just thought of it. What if week 17, Adam Gase pulls Avonte Davis and just doesn't come out at halftime? Like, the Jets are losing. It's week 17. He's just like, I'm leaving. Like, he's like, I'm getting fired. He's like, I'm not sticking around for this. That was it.
That'd be incredible.
Patriots. Go ahead, Max. Patriots. What do you got?
The Patriots are dead. New England's dead. The whole city of Boston is in shambles. I wouldn't be surprised, all their buildings are on fire right now, because they are officially they're not officially mathematically out of the playoff picture, but they have 7 losses, and there's no way a 9-7 team makes the playoffs in the AFC. So
especially AFC East this season. I mean, with the Bills at 9-3, the Dolphins right there. It's surprising that they're not mathematically, but I guess with them and the Dolphins being so close, anything can happen. Yeah, they came off of like 2 wins, and somebody was saying that like one of the announcers, like the Patriots are one of the hottest teams like right now because they won
They
2
beat the
games in a row.
Chargers 45-0. I was
They
scared. Like I see,
destroyed the Chargers. Yeah,
and Cam Newton only threw for less than 100 yards in that win, but it's like still when you blank a team 45-0, like I got scared. I was like, "Oh boy, are the Patriots back? Like are they going to go undefeated the rest of the way and somehow sneak into the playoffs?" I kind of bought into that. But apparently that was all smoke and mirrors.
3 games in a row now Cam Newton has thrown for like less than 100 yards. Granted, this 3rd game I believe is benched, right? Is that what happened with him in the Rams game?
The Rams game, I don't know why I did not watch the game. I saw the highlights, but I did not watch the game in person. So I
turned it on with like 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and Stidham was playing. So I just, with the score the way it was, I assumed Cam got benched.
Yeah.
So
I want to bring up this comment here.
Yeah.
W says you're wrong. There are 7 playoff spots this year. It is possible. The reason I'm saying I don't think it's possible is there's just too many good teams in the AFC this year. Like I truly believe that even with these 7 teams, like if you look at the numbers, you look at the records of these teams, I think a 10-6 team could be left out. Like you got the Miami Dolphins, you got the Indianapolis Colts, you got the Raiders, you got the Ravens,
still kind of close.
Titans, Browns. There's so many teams fighting for those 3 wild card spots that like the AFC is the much better conference overall than the NFC this year. You wouldn't have said that in years past, but I really don't think it's going to be highly unlikely that a 7-loss team makes the playoffs.
He's not wrong that it's like it is possible.
Yeah, it's
for sure,
certainly possible, but I'm just
very unlikely.
Yeah, mathematically, it's going to be tough.
So, yeah, that's all my around the league stuff. Do you have anything, Max, that you wanted to bring up that you heard from other teams, other divisions?
Let's see. Sorry
to put you on the spot.
I want to examine. Speaking, we're on kind of the AFC talk and the division, the conference talk about seeding and who's going to make the playoffs and whatnot. I did the math this week, Jeremy. We still have a chance at the 1 seed. It's unlikely.
Oh yeah,
but I want to. I give the rundown.
Yeah,
I'm going to give the rundown of what it will take for the Buffalo Bills to get the 1 seed in the AFC. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. All right. Here's our easiest path to the 1 seed. We have to win out. So we have to win against Pittsburgh. We have to win against Denver, at New England, and then versus Miami. So that would put us at 13-3. Now, to get that 1 seed, we have to have a 3-way tie between Kansas City and Pittsburgh and us in order to get that tiebreaker. This is our easiest way to get the 1 seed. So Kansas City would have to be at 13-3, and Pittsburgh would have to be at 13-3.
And they're
Kansas
both at
City,
like, what, 11 wins?
So Kansas City has 1 loss right now. Their only loss is against the Raiders. So Kansas City is 11-1. So you have to look for 2 losses the rest of the way on Kansas City's schedule. That's going to be tough. Now, they play the Saints. If the Bills have any chance at all, you would have to imagine the Chiefs have to lose against the New Orleans Saints just because that's the toughest team left on their schedule. And their other games they have left on their schedule, they have week 14 against the Dolphins, so that's this week, and they have week 17 versus the Chargers. If they can lose either against the Dolphins or against the Chargers, plus that win against the Saints, or that loss against the Saints, then that would put them at 13-3. Now, let's look at Pittsburgh.
Can I say on the Chiefs really quick? Sorry, before we move on from the Chiefs. I agree. New Orleans could give them trouble. At Atlanta, they have a new coach. They're doing a little better. And the Chargers, Chargers did give the Chiefs some trouble, and that was like Justin Herbert's like debut. They did well that game. I don't know if Anthony Lynn is like an even worse coach at this point when that happens, but it is possible. So
now shout out to Spin 0481 because he's on top of this just like me. I know you mentioned the Falcons, but because the tiebreaker is going to come down to strength of victory, or actually not, there's some caveat where the loss cannot be against against the Falcons. So the loss can't be against the Falcons. So they have to lose either against Miami or the Chargers. So I know big math here, but the loss can't be against the Falcons. So now we have to have
a team with more wins. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Okay.
The playoff machine told me it was you can only lose against either the Dolphins or the Chargers. So that would put Kansas City. Let's say that puts Kansas City at 13-3. Now we have to get a 3-way tie for 13-3. So let's have Pittsburgh get to 13-3. So obviously, if we beat them this week, that gives Pittsburgh 2 losses, 11-2. Now the rest of the way, they got a tough schedule the rest of the way. Week 16, they have the Colts, and week 17 they're at the Browns. That third loss has to either come against the Colts or against the Browns. It can't be week 15 at the Bengals.
This is super interesting because all three of the Bills, Chiefs, and the Steelers, like their week 17 matchup is against like a division rival, and all three teams could be going for that 1 seed. So there may not be any teams resting starters in this final game.
Yeah,
that could be like one of the most exciting week 17s in a while.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. And you talk about like division games, like crazy things can happen in division games where, you know, a bad team can beat a really good team. Like look at what the Raiders have done against the Chiefs in their 2 games this year. They beat them once and they kept it really close late. So it's certainly possible. You have to imagine Pittsburgh going 13-3 is much, much more likely than the Chiefs going 13-3. Like it's certainly possible to see them losing at the Saints, but it's really hard for me to see them losing at the Dolphins or versus the Chargers. But there's still hope for that number 1 seed. So I just want to, you know, didn't want to get too mathy here, but I kind of got very mathy.
It's okay. So yeah, that could be very interesting to follow, but
yeah.
Very cool.
So, Scott Blakely with a good question here. So, if we're tied with the Chiefs head to head, the Teats, yeah, can't say that on a live stream. Head to head is next tiebreaker. So that's why I said it has to be a 3-way tie between. Think a 3-way. We have to think 3-way here with the Chiefs, Steelers, and Bills, because then you can't have a 3-way head to head tiebreaker. This is getting a little too sexual. Sorry about that, but
talking about 3 ways and teats.
Yeah. But yeah, so it has to be a 3-way tie. You're correct. If it's just between the Chiefs and the Bills, the Chiefs would get the tiebreaker because of head to head.
All right. Max, you want to move on to the Steelers game?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. First off, I've seen it in the comments a few times. Color Rush. It's Color Rush time. How do you feel about the Color Rush?
I love Color Rush. It's finally here. I've been waiting for it all season long. I'm disappointed we haven't gotten it sooner, but we're on Primetime. Color Rush, all reds. That's gonna look so awesome on camera, in the dark, under the lights in Buffalo. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I like Color Rush, definitely. I just wish, I don't know. I kind of guess I wish like maybe like the socks were a little different. Like there's a little bit of like break 'em color, but I'm not gonna nitpick. We talked about them playing time. I like the Color Rush, so I'm happy.
We got some haters in the comments. Scott Blakely doesn't like the Color Rush. Unbelievable.
There are some people.
Unbelievable.
And this is fine, but it's like I think if it was up to them, they would just have like 2 uniform combinations, and that would be it. They just like they don't want to see anything. Like I don't know. Like I have like favorites.
Yeah.
I like everything really. I like the blue and white. I like the white on blue. I like the all blues. I like the all whites. I like the throw. I like them all. Like I like the, you know, being able to mix it up, but they're all, you know, still our uniforms. So I like them all.
Yeah, there definitely are those like uniform purists out there that if they had it their way, it'd be like every football uniform would be like Penn State's uniform, which is like it's literally like the most boring uniform you can imagine, where it's like just a white jersey with like a blue stripe, and their helmet's like a blue helmet with a white stripe or something. Yeah.
I'm the kind of person, like even like my favorite combination, which I don't even really know what it is. Like I wouldn't want to see that every game or even like half the games. I don't know. I love seeing like different combinations. So that's just me. But
Do you think
so
we wear white face masks with the color rush? Maybe.
no, I think they already revealed that they're going back to gray
No
because
one likes
that's
that.
a thing. Yeah, and
Oh
apparently
my
that
god.
video showed that they like dip the face masks to make them
Yeah.
white. I don't know if that was real, but it's like, why not just save yourself like the workload and keep them white for another week? Like you gotta
Yeah.
go
You had to
back and
get that
re-dip
guy
them
back in
in the
there
gray.
and put the hazmat suit on and dip it in
Yeah,
again. Like that's ridiculous.
right. I almost want to be like, why do the Bills have hazmat suits? Like, is there more to that story? But anyways, yeah, why not just keep them white for another week? That would look good. Um, So Steelers, Max, some injuries. Let's talk about some key injuries. The Steelers have some unfortunate. I think like the week before they lost Bud Dupree to a
Yep.
torn ACL. So they're. I think the only person I'd ever be happy to see sustain an injury is Julian Edelman. So I'm never like happy to see somebody get injured, but like I will be happy that we don't have to see Bud Dupree.
Fuck Jules. Fuck Jules. We don't like Jules.
One of their starting cornerbacks, Joe Hayden, is out, and then they have like I think two like inside linebackers, like their starter, and then the guy who's supposed to be like his depth guy are both out. So I saw somebody say just run the ball, like we don't have like a linebacker who can stop it or something. So they got a couple big guys out. I forgot to check our injury report. We've been pretty healthy. I
Yeah.
think Jaquan Johnson was ruled out for the game. Other than that, I think everybody else is basically good to
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah, we
we
got
are
to be
going to
careful
look
with
for
that
Gatlin.
because it's easy to see the injury report and be like, oh, all our guys are healthy, but you have to remember that like John Brown's on the IR still. I forget who else we have on the IR.
Cody
but
Ford is out for the season.
Cody Ford's out for the season. It's like,
Uh,
yes, we're all healthy.
Josh Norman, I don't even know what's going on with him anymore. He's just like still on the team, I think, but is he? I was seriously
Yeah.
thinking that last week. I was like, is Josh Norman active? And it's like, yeah, but he was just like, I didn't see him. Joe Hayden, yeah, big miss for them.
Richard Rush with a good comment here. Yeah, Joe Hayden's out. So, yeah, is he a safety or a corner? He's a secondary guy. I know. I think he's a corner. Yeah, he's one of their better corners. So that's huge for them. But their biggest loss is Bud Dupree. He was massive for the team.
Sean says he thinks Connor and Pouncey will be back. I think so. So Pouncey is like their center. I remember watching the Ravens game. My brother was telling me that their center was out. And one of the first plays I see, their backup center is in there. And I think this dude came from like the AFL or something, but he's literally like, the play happens and he's like doing like waiting to block. And then two guys just run up the middle to rush like Roethlisberger. And he just kind of like puts his hand in the way. Like, oh no, don't. No, not you either. And I was like, that was terrible.
That was funny.
Their two starting inside linebackers are out.
Devin Bush, Vince Williams. We're good. I love it when the people in the comments inform us because we don't keep track of it enough. But shout out Chris Janke for that.
We are.
We got a lot of
amateur previewers.
We got to be funny. That's difficult.
We're reaction guys. We can't react to something that hasn't happened yet. So that's why this is not our strong suit. So sometimes we think about just bringing in somebody smarter who can talk about it and we can ask questions. Yeah. But Max, question for you, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here, but what are you afraid of with the Steelers? Like what or who are you afraid of going into this game?
Well, right now,
two things. Two questions. First,
because things have not been trending well for the Steelers in the past couple of weeks. You think about Wednesday, they had they got a win over the Ravens, but it wasn't pretty. It was close. That was Wednesday game. The Steelers have had all sorts of schedule trouble, but that's besides the point due to COVID. And then obviously Monday night before the Bills game, they lose to the Washington football team. And for an undefeated team, or a one-loss team that's at the top of the AFC. Well, not anymore because the Chiefs had the tie. No, the Steelers had the tiebreaker. Wait, are the Steelers still currently the number one seed? I think they are. Yes, because their loss came against an NFC team. Yeah. Whereas the Chiefs,
lost to a division.
Chiefs one came against the Raiders, so a division loss.
Yeah,
but yeah, for a team that's at the top of the conference, they do not look very formidable right now. Their receivers are dropping balls. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson. Chase Claypool. They're dropping balls left and right. I put I wrote my outrageous predictions column on the Buffalo Fanatics blog. Like, I've never seen this many balls drop since middle school.
That was
Just
hilarious.
they can't secure the ball. They can't secure the ball, and and they cannot run the ball at all. They can't. Their offense is so one dimensional. It relies on Ben Roethlisberger dropping back for a second, throwing a quick release ball. It's quick passes has been the Steelers' MO. Their offense all season long, and now teams are starting to figure it out and figure out how to beat that. And the Steelers have got to change something up this week, because all the momentum's with the Bills and none of the momentum is with the Steelers.
Yeah. I saw that Ben Roethlisberger's like 29th in like average yards per completion or attempt or something. It's low. I think it's like around 4 yards. So there's that. And the run game, we faced James Conner last year and kind of shut him down pretty easily. It wasn't so much like that we shut him down easily, but it was like once he got blown up a couple times, it was like the Steelers just stopped trying last season. They're like, well, we're not going to run the ball anymore. So that happened. But yeah, the person I'm afraid of, I think of, is TJ Watt, who is playing very well. And we saw how Joey Bosa kind of like had his way with us in that Chargers game. So hopefully our offensive line cannot let a game like that happen again with TJ Watt. Something you're laughing. Did you want to?
Yeah, TJ. Oh, sorry. I think I'm a little delayed right now, but Buzzy Fuzzsaw with first of all, a great username, great handle for your YouTube, and a great everything about this comment is great. The little avatar of the cat with the melon on its head. Hell with the balls, bring back the KC teats. Perfect. Yeah, TJ Watt is going to be tough to guard against, because you saw in that San Francisco game, like the pass rush for the 49ers wasn't fully there. Obviously, they've been dealing with injuries, the 49ers, with Nick Bosa being out, and all sorts of injuries on that D-line. The D-line couldn't really get after Josh Allen. Josh Allen's not going to have as much time in the pocket as he did against the 49ers. So TJ Watt, we got to keep an eye on him. TJ Watt's probably been the best defensive player in all of football this year. He should be the defensive player of the year. So TJ Watt is going to TJ Watt. We just can't let the other guys on the defensive line give us hell.
Yeah. Super chat here from John DeFazio. Biggest travesty to this season is Bills fans can't be there. Visiting teams lucked out. Yeah, this is unfortunate, but Max, it's hard for me to empathize because I live in California and I don't get to go to Bills games anyways. So for me, nothing feels different. But
yeah,
not trying to sound selfish.
And for me, obviously, I
forget about this.
Yeah, I mean, I live in New England, but like I definitely feel with the fan. Like, I don't go to many Bills games myself, but it's so like without the fans being there, man, that the atmosphere would be rocking. And I miss seeing it on TV, just seeing the stands packed with all these awesome people, crazy people without their shirts on, doing awesome stuff, being excited, having fun. It's the best part of football is seeing the energy, the environment, and obviously we can't have that this year. But that's a travesty. Let's look on the negative side. Let's look on the positive side. This is a Bills team. The Patriots are dead and the Bills have risen. This should be a celebration. Obviously it's taken away a little bit by the fact that fans can't be there, but it is what it is.
We have a lot of good comments and questions that will help steer us. But this first one, Joe Schmo 43 says Pouncey is back. But any word on who our starting O-line is? We forgot to mention this. So Brian Winters didn't give in to our bullying fast enough, and he actually got benched. He got taken out of the game a little bit against the 49ers. Maybe it was after the play where Lee Smith went up to Coach McDermott and said, hey, I'm doing his job. You might as well just take him off. So he came out for Butker. I know he did come back in for a little bit because I think Feliciano went out for a little, but yeah, so Butker came in and I heard he did well. I feel like it's got to be Butker and Feliciano at guard again this game. What do you think?
Yeah, Get Ike Butker in, one of the best names on this Bills roster. Dion's been killing it. Darrell Williams has been killing it. Mitch Morse has been killing it. Let's give Butker a shot. He deserves it. He's been working his tail off. Everyone's sick of winners. Again, I don't really know much about offensive line play, but I think Butker, Buttman should be the guy.
Oh, so we got balls and teats and butt man. I don't know what's
I'm
going on.
getting vulgar. I'm getting vulgar today. This is uncharacteristic.
It is. I'm almost glad we're on opposite coasts, because if we were in the same room, I'd probably feel even more uncomfortable. But that's all right. Lone Wolf asks, Lee Smith active again this game. Tyler Kroft, again, inactive 2 weeks in a row. I still haven't really heard anybody talk about why. Have you, Max? Any theories?
Sorry,
is he on paternity leave or something? I didn't know if that was a thing.
I
know.
I don't know, man. I have no clue. I really don't.
After his restructure, is this his final season with us?
I don't know.
Okay. So my thought is they restructured him. I'm assuming that went from the 3 to 2 years. So maybe if this is going to be his final season, they've already decided they're not going to bring him back. So they're thinking might as well get Knox in there to, give him more reps to see if we can get that going up. But yeah, like I said, with what Joey Bosa did to us last game, and now going up against a D line with TJ Watt, I think Lee Smith is definitely active again, him and Knox, and Kroft is probably out.
Yeah.
So definitely.
As much as I hate to see Lee Smith out there, like, he's just such a fat tight end. He's a biscuit away from being he's a Popeye's biscuit away from being an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's what we got, him and Dawson. So yeah, keep him out. He's entertaining to watch, I guess, because he's so big and weird. Yeah.
Scott says, I want Trey to cover Claypool. And this is interesting because McDermott doesn't always, put Trey on who we think the best receiver is. For instance, in the Seahawks game, he wasn't always on Metcalf. He wasn't always on Lockett. He kind of went back and forth. The Cardinals game, I mean, Dane Jackson was on DeAndre Hopkins at one point, and he actually broke up a touchdown pass. So, and this last game, I don't even remember this last game, but so yeah, you would think maybe they put him on Claypool, but just from those couple of games, it's like they've kind of moved him around. So they don't, they got some trust in whoever they put in there. But anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I'll add to that after this super chat here. Rashid Turner, $5. I appreciate it, Rashid. Hughes needs to be inactive. We got a hot take here. Give the young guys a chance. Hughes 3 games is not enough. He's been stealing money for 3 years. Whew. You want to take this a little bit, Jeremy? Take the start of it at least.
First, I think it's interesting that super chatters have the option to give $4.99 or $5. Like, for those people that are like, $4.99 is looking a little bit more appealing to my bank account.
Be grateful, Jeremy.
I am. I just think that's fine. But I disagree, sir. Respectfully, you can't take your money back. But I disagree. I think with Trent Murphy being out, Epinesa and Darryl Johnson are getting in there. So Hughes, he's not showing up in the sack column, but everybody will tell you, like, he is still one of our best defensive linemen. But again, with Trent Murphy being out, Epinesa, Darryl Johnson are getting their reps, and I'm okay with that going forward.
Yeah, I agree with Spin here. Listen, it's easy to look at the sack numbers and say Hughes hasn't been playing great. He's not, he's saying he's not playing what he's worth. He's been generating pressure, and I know, it took him a while to heat up at the start of this year in terms of generating pressure. And I think through the first 4 games or so, I think fans would be right to, be mad at Jerry Hughes, but I think he's picked it up of late, and I think he's earning his money now. I think he's really earned his money, and I'm happy that we have him. So I disagree. I definitely think Hughes needs to be in that starting lineup. I think he needs to be active and be one of our guys.
My thoughts on people talk about, when they bring up like the sack total, is like a good expectation of sacks for Jerry Hughes. Max, would you say like 10 is good? Like 10 sacks? Is
Yeah,
that something you'd want?
I mean, I don't know. One sack would be good for me. I'd be happy if I got one sack in an NFL game, but that's just
10
me.
sacks. 10 sacks. Sorry, go ahead. I really want to
Breaking
finish my
table.
thing,
Sorry. Super chat. Breaking tables. Bills talk. I know fans aren't allowed, but seeing an empty stadium on TV is sad. It would be nice if they did some fan cutouts. Pancho Billa, Pinto Ron, Elvis, the chefs. That's a good idea. I would like maybe not even cutouts, but like if you could just like get a stuffed Pancho Bia or a stuffed Pinto Ron or something. That would be awesome. I think the fans would love that. Some Elvises. That would definitely be cool. I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. But back to the Jerry Hughes and the sack stuff. So if you want like Jerry Hughes to be giving you like 10 sacks this season, that's 10 plays over the span of 16 games. I mean, like to put all your eggs in that basket, it's like, come on, you're asking a guy to just to give you 10 plays over all of his snap count. Like I think people really need to listen to those the people who go back and watch the film and tell you about like all the other stuff they are doing, like the pressures, the hurries, the hits.
Yeah.
You can't just keep going off those sack columns. So
yeah, I would agree. And I keep pulling up Spin because he's hitting us with good comments. People have been ragging on Oliver this year, Ed Oliver, and I think he's been in a similar situation with Hughes where he's not generating crazy sack numbers, but also he's a defensive tackle and he's generating a lot of pressure. So I think he's been playing great this year too.
I agree with that as well. Another super chat.
Gary Godshaw. He's got a yellow comment. That's a pretty cool color there. Appreciate it. Hey guys, think we're over 100 yards rushing tomorrow? ? If so, who's the number one rusher?
Before the Washington game, I saw on one site, I think it was ESPN, that Pittsburgh had like their number one pass defense and number 10 rushing defense. I don't know how much that's shifted, but the rushing defense, well, even the passing with the cornerback being injured, but with their linebacker injuries, should help the rush even more. So if we're over 100 yards rushing, I mean, if that's cumulative, I don't know if you're talking about Allen in there as well, or just the running backs. I think that's definitely possible. And yeah, why not? I'd say that's possible. The number one, Moss found himself in the doghouse a little bit last game with that fumble. I don't know how much that continues into this game, but I would probably say Singletary is that number one rusher.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's talking about, cumulative as a team rushing or, one guy. But I'd say I don't see the run game being a huge part of this game plan. I think we found huge success in like kind of our air raid Bills offense, Josh Allen throwing the ball a lot. So I'd say like I wouldn't expect a lot of runs. I think we can beat this team passing the ball, 40 times with Josh Allen, and there'll be runs here and there, but I don't think one guy gets over 100 rushing yards now.
Yeah,
and if one were to, I'd give the edge to Singletary just because I think McDermott still holds grudges for a while on guys that fumble the ball, and I still think McDermott's going to be less likely to trust Moss.
Yeah, I mean maybe it like comes up, but I mean I'm not saying it looks like Moss is in the doghouse again, but I definitely would be surprised if Singletary has more touches. So Max, I'm going to ask you something, and you gotta take the bias out of it. What is something you are afraid of happening in this game for the Bills? Like if something bad's going to happen, what's that bad thing you're afraid of?
I'm afraid of our defense coming back down to earth, I guess, in the sense of coming back down to what we saw in maybe the early part of this season. And, even with our guys being healthy, even with Milano and Edmonds and Levi and all these guys that are healthy being back out on the field, I'm worried about this Pittsburgh offense coming together and, destroying us through the quick passing game. That's what Pittsburgh does. And that's the biggest thing I'm worried about.
Andrew Smith
is worried about Dementors.
Those are in Pittsburgh. Those aren't in Buffalo, so I think we're okay.
Yeah.
They got to stay within city limits. I would actually, my fear, Max, would be on the offensive side, and I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but my fear is maybe just the Pittsburgh defense still looks like it is, and the offense gives Josh Allen like a bad game. But I will say, what I am confident about is that we have done well against good defenses before. I mean, the Rams are getting talked up like crazy right now. And we did very well against them. So it's definitely possible. That would be my biggest fear. But we've done it before, and hopefully we can do it again.
Some people in the comments talking about the weather conditions. Cliff asks, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour tomorrow night. I'm not sure, but one thing I kind of want to bring up is like, I feel like everyone, when Josh Allen got drafted and when a big armed guy gets drafted to a city like Buffalo, everyone's immediately, all the pundits are like, well, he's got that big arm to throw in the weather up in Buffalo. He can throw in the snow. He can throw in the rain. Josh Allen hasn't been good throwing the ball in the rain or the wind or the snow so far in his career. Like, he just really hasn't. He's been so much better when it's a sunny, hot day throwing the ball, which is kind of interesting. That's something.
If I can throw those in there, the Eagles game last season, the winds were crazy, and they had him throwing the ball a lot, and we remember how that game went. This season, there was some pretty bad winds in the Patriots game, and what happened? We didn't throw the ball very often. Like, we went for the run game. So continue to what you're doing. Where you're going.
All right. Well, Spin Zone's holding me accountable here. He threw for 400 plus yards against Miami in the rain. Fair enough. It was the rain. But I'm just saying, like, this year, like, think about the weather conditions. Think about that Chiefs game. It was rainy. There was multiple games. I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but just in the elements, he hasn't been, what Josh Allen, the normal Josh Allen we see in the beautiful weather. So I don't know.
The Miami game, I would argue, there was probably some rain, but it was probably like warm. I don't think it was cold and windy. Their defense was out. Byron Jones?
The sun came out in the second half.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was delayed because of weather conditions, but like, I don't know.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Everyone says like he's got that arm that can cut through the weather, but then when that weather happens, our offense is like, maybe we should run the ball more. And then so now people are talking about, but really quick with the weather, I think it's supposed to be windy in the beginning, but somebody said by the time the game is going, it's just, I think the wind's supposed to die down and it's just supposed to be cold. But yeah, so everyone's talking about, should we get a dome for the Bills to play in? Were you gonna give your thoughts on that, Max? Or gonna make your way towards it?
Oh no, I was not. That was not even on my radar. But
okay.
I don't think I want a dome. I don't want a dome.
No.
I like being in the elements, seeing fans out in the snow.
How about retractable roof? So still considered a dome, but the option is there.
No, I don't want change.
Straight open.
I want straight open. I want this blue collar city of Buffalo to be tough, man up, be out in the elements, be cold, be miserable, and watch football.
My vote or my thing, and I don't know how this is correct, but I don't think it should be up to the fans at all. Like I know the fans like to put their opinion out there, and I know the Pegulas did like a survey, but for me, I'd be like, players and coaches, whatever they think is best, whatever they want to do. We're just out there like hanging out and drinking and getting, and we're all layered up. But you have something you want to pull up?
Yeah, Monster Freak, Monster Jam Freak. No dome. I mean, listen, I don't know. I guess you're just soft. Man. Like, come on, handle the elements.
Again, I'm saying it's whatever the players want. Like, I wouldn't really go off of like what the fans say they want. You're gonna go anyways. All right, Bills Mafia, don't act like you're gonna like boycott the stadium because it's a dome. But I think at least with a retractable roof, which most domes basically are, I'd say just close it if there's like a blizzard coming through. Close it for a little bit to keep like, so you don't have to bring in like a freaking snowplow. But like when the game happens, open it up, open stadium, go for it. But Josh Allen says he likes a dome, and a lot of people are saying hey, I'm on the dome side. If that's what he wants, like get our baby boy what he wants. And I can say that because I'm older than him.
Yeah, the players are on board with a dome. So I mean, I gotta say, like, if they want it, I guess I'm on board with it a little bit. Even though I personally don't want it. And I think it'd be funny how about we get a dome and then like for all like the perfect weather games, we keep the dome closed, and then when like there's a blizzard, we just like open it up for the whole game. Just like it's still Buffalo. We still want the elements.
Just open it when the other team's offense is on and be like, it's malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then like when they're done, they're like, oh, it's working. It closed. And then our offense goes out there and does it. But
yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a retractable roof, just like if a blizzard's going to hit you like the night before, close it up so the stadium's not filled. And then the next day, open it back up and you got your open air stadium. Best of both worlds. And again, you're all going to do whatever Josh wants. So who cares?
That's true.
Ooh, what do we got here? Sorry, I was waiting for you to pull that up. John DeFazio with another one says, Buff best chance to host Super Bowl is dome. That's an economical standpoint. People say if you have a dome, then the city can bring in more events, and that's good for the local economy. So if you guys want to stop being selfish and think about other people for once, but nope, you don't. Just thinking about yourselves. But good for the economy, right?
Yeah, definitely. People in the comments, we got Sunday Night Football. What are your plans for Sunday Night Football? Because it's going to be an interesting week where it's prime time. We're on the national stage. I want to hear what you got. How are you guys excited? What are you guys planning to do?
Can I say?
Because
Thanksgiving, I was drinking and I made a drunken bet with my brother, who is a Steelers fan. And I said, I bet you $10 the Steelers aren't undefeated when they play us next. And at the time, they had to play the Ravens and Washington. And I was drunk, but I was also like, the Ravens could possibly beat the Steelers. So we make the bet. And then like the Ravens game happens and like Lamar Jackson's out. And I think I tried to back out of it. I was like, I made that bet thinking it was going to be a healthy Ravens team, but I think we kept it on. So the Ravens lose. And I'm like, well, now there's Washington. And then as I'm waiting for Monday Night Football to start, my wife texts me and it's like, oh, the Steelers are losing to Washington right now. And the game's almost over. So they end up losing. And another sad part is that she was at her brother's house and our nephew is a Steelers fan. And it was his birthday. So he Steelers lost their first game of the season on his birthday. I guess he was pretty bummed.
How old is he?
So he is like 13. He's in 8th grade.
Ooh, that's a rough age to be on your birthday and suffer if you're a big football fan, suffer a loss. As a 13-year-old, I was a mess watching Bills games when they lost.
So when the Steelers lost, I texted my brother and I was very gentleman about it. And I just said, $10, bitch. And he responded, blah, blah. So I win that one. And then I made a second bet also on Thanksgiving when I was drunk. And I said, and on top of the $10, if we beat you, then you have to give me $20. So I made another $20 bet on top of it. So
Doubling
I already
down.
have 10. Yeah, again, that was drunk, Jeremy. I was very confident, but I'm confident now. Like leading up to this game, I've got more confident. I think we can win. And my nephew, the Steelers fan, has also made a bet with us. We got to come up with but we didn't bet money. We bet like embarrassing things. If the Steelers win, I have to just do like karaoke to an embarrassing song while drinking terrible beer and maybe wearing something embarrassing. And I told him if I win, I'm coming over to your house for lunch and you have to serve me like a waiter. You have to valet park my bicycle.
Wow.
You have to seat me, like take my order. So that's it. So that is how my Sunday will be going. I wanted to kill some time so people can put up theirs. Who isn't drunk right now?
Who isn't drunk right now? Andrew Smith says, I'm just so excited because
this was full of moonshine, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this is the time. It's the end of the year. All our let's put all our cards on the table. This is the time. The playoffs are heating up. Like it's nearly time for the playoffs. And the Bills have a legit Super Bowl contending team. Like, who would have thought that at the beginning of the year? Like, I think a lot of people thought that this would be an improved team, team. We might win the division. Now it looks like we're legit forces in the AFC East in the AFC to be reckoned with for years. So this should be a party tomorrow night because we're gonna win. We're gonna win. The Steelers are garbage. The city of Pittsburgh is garbage. Buffalo's the best.
Wow, went after the entire city.
Yeah. Rashid Turner says the national media pick the Bills. The Steelers are coming in like Steve Austin. I'd rather be the underdog. I will be turning off the sound and watching.
I mean, we're not the underdog, but again, 3 points favorites at home. That's the 3 points is given to us because we're the home team. So, it's still tough, but hey, we like being the underdogs, but at the same time, Bills Mafia loves saying how, we don't like being disrespected. So now if you're given the respect, you got to take it.
We're really hypocrites when it comes to that. We really are. We got the Buffalo versus everybody behind you, Jeremy. Like, we like being the underdogs. We embrace it. But at the same time, we're really petty when it comes to like any little slight against the city. And it's fun to be petty because Buffalo doesn't get the respect it deserves.
We're like
that's how we have fun as fans. Yeah.
We're like cats. We're like, we want respect. We're tired of disrespect. And they're like, okay, you're 3 point favorites against an 11-1 team. We're like, not like that. Other kinds of respect. It's like what? And we're like, we don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah.
We want respect and we want to be underdogs. Figure it out how to give it to us simultaneously.
See, Jeremy, you're a married man. You might be able to relate to this, but I feel like it's kind of like Bills Mafia is kind of the woman in the relationship where whatever the husband says, they're wrong. Whatever the husband says, they're wrong. Like, it doesn't matter. You can never win as the husband. Is that kind of? I feel like that's kind of how Bills Mafia is, where we're looking for this right answer, but there's no right answer.
Yeah, it's like you get mad. It's like, I want you to do this without me telling you. And it's like, well, how about I just ask you and you tell me? It's like, no, you can't ask. You just have to know. You have to know what I'm thinking. We're just like that stereotypical, like, nagging wife.
Yeah.
And then we go on social media and we're just like, oh my God, I'm so mad. We go out there and start calling people out. But that's what I've noticed. I've kind of been thinking about that too. So I'm glad you brought it up. Like, we got like the petty people. But anyways, RESPE kill the Steelers.
Oh, sorry.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, okay. He said he was like, he's pretending to be respectful, and then he was like, no, kill him. And I think we will kill him.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm talking about respect, and Max called the entire city of Pittsburgh garbage. So I don't do that.
I've never been to Pittsburgh. It doesn't seem like a nice place.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you've been there. You haven't been there?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they're too cheap to afford to put the logo on the other side of their helmet too. Like, they only have one sticker.
And then somebody showed like an old graphic from like Monday Night Football where it was like the helmets going head to head. And for some reason, they showed the Steelers on like the right side where they don't have the logo, and it was just all black. And I was like, why wouldn't you swap them so you can actually see like the Steelers logo? Like, whoever did that 20 years ago, I don't know. But anyways, that was the thing.
I think we're getting our fans' husbands in trouble.
My wife is texting me the same thing.
So, Jeremy, one thing I didn't even mention that you wrote a fantastic article on for the Buffalo Fanatics blog. And I think Rashid Turner brought it up here. Bills Mafia, please attack. Get Nick Wright. He thinks Tua is better than Josh. Jeremy wrote an amazing article. Check it out on Buffalo Fanatics blog, where Sean, he basically outlines how Sean McDermott had to admit to his team. He had to tell his team that they're only a good team, not a great team, because Nick Wright doesn't trust Josh Allen.
Yeah, the writing on the wall, it's no longer like championship caliber. It's a picture of Nick Wright, and it's like, get his trust. that's the writing on the wall now. So yeah, in case you haven't read any like the articles I've done, I've been writing them like satire. Like if you like the Onion articles, I thought, hey, what if I did that, but just for like the AFC East basically and the Bills. So I've been doing those lately. So that was my most recent one. It went out today. Yeah, if you want to hear how devastating Nick Wright's comments have been, yeah, just be careful when you see Nick Wright's face. It's brutal.
It really is. His nose, it looks like a broken nose. His nose is crazy looking. I almost wonder if it was some sort of genetic defect, man. Like his nose is weird. That sounded very insensitive. I'm sorry about that.
Bad genes. It's okay. Hey.
Okay.
It is what it is.
I don't want to be canceled.
Yeah. Buzzy Fuzzsaw. Great name, great logo. Downtown Pittsburgh is gorgeous. Beautiful city, Max. So there you go.
I don't trust anybody with an avatar that's a cat with a melon over his cat's head. Sorry.
Melon helmet.
Sorry, Fuzzy Buzzsaw.
I think I trust that person just as much as a normal person, maybe more. How about
I really want to meet Buzzy Fuzzsaw.
There's a Dolphins guy, was Adam Beasley, who said at the beginning of the season, he was like ranking quarterbacks and he's like, Josh Allen, blah, blah. He's like, and I've got no confidence in that guy. And it's just funny when these like analysts think like, ooh, if you want to know like how I feel about this one player and readjust your power rankings based on that, here I go. And it's like, no, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
I got to admit, I fall into the Nick Wright trap too, where, and it's kind of Bills Mafia being hypocrites of where it's like, we like being the underdog. We don't care what anyone says. We're going to go into battle no matter what anyone says. And I find myself like my guilty pleasure is looking up on YouTube, like Nick Wright Bills, and then just listening to what he says and then just getting mad at him. Like, it's ridiculous that I do it because he's just some stupid pundit on national TV. Why should I care? But I do care a little.
Nick Wright looked like a buddy of mine from the military, like in the face, like the nose, like just like the build, the way his face looks like. So he reminds me of my buddy in the military. And funny thing is, my buddy in the military was an idiot. I think he got contacted by the government because he was selling like our military uniforms like to people. I think he was selling them to like people in Russia or something, maybe China. So he got in trouble for that. He left. And then I read an article that while he was in the reserves, him and some other people got like high on maybe like some type of methamphetamines and like broke into some base to steal more military stuff to sell. So yeah, he got in trouble. And
who do you make buddies with, Jeremy?
Well, at first he was funny, and then it was like we told him all the time, like, dude, you're an idiot. Like he was one of those people that you didn't care. You're just like, dude, you're such an idiot. But it was like, but he was kind of funny, and it was kind of you laughed at his expense, but he looks like him, and that's the kind of person he was. So maybe Nick Wright is pretty awful, also that we don't know. But yeah, my friend was dumb. I don't talk to him that much anymore. But anyhow.
Then he became Nick Wright on Fox Sports.
Oh my God. Yeah, maybe that is what he's doing. He's got like, he changed, but
James had like minor plastic surgeries so that you wouldn't think he was the same guy, but yeah, maybe he is the same guy.
James Payne said he has a face he would love to punch. He looks like he's been punched a lot of times.
He does that.
It's just like, he does
his nose has been punched like 5 different times. It like punched back and forth different ways. So it like, he gets punched once and the nose goes like that and then it punched the other way so it straightens back out. But yeah, he's definitely a guy with a punchable face. That there's a lot of guys out there with faces that are punchable. And Nick Wright's one of them. Yeah.
So, well, Max, I see the viewer numbers going down a little bit. So I mean, at this point, we know the end is coming. So we're just kind of BSing right now. So please don't think we're trying to, we're just having fun right now, but
we're just having fun.
Yeah, but I think we covered everything. Would you say? I think it's a good time to call it a night.
Yeah, I think so. Shout out to everybody in the comments. I'm seeing a lot of new names in the comments that we normally don't see. So this was kind of an interesting vidcast, like a lot of different a lot of different people. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do this every week. We're now the Buffalo Bootleg. No more.
Yes.
We can't say what we used to be. We're not Bills Overdue.
Yeah. We might get sued. I don't even know if we're supposed to be wearing these hats.
I just actually got fined $5,000 because I said Bills. Oh, damn it. There's another $10,000. God damn it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're here every Saturday around 6 p.m. Eastern. If that changes, follow us on Twitter because that is where we announce these things. Again, my name is Jeremy. You can find me. Sorry.
I'm just pulling this up because Troy asked, I came late, do recap. If you just go to our YouTube channel, they're all recorded. Go to YouTube. Yes. We have a playlist. We have a Buffalo Bootleg playlist where you can find all of $15,000 fined. And yeah, you can watch this whole thing. You can watch the whole 90-minute episode, or you can fast forward through it if you want. If you don't have all that time to hear us talk.
And we will eventually put the audio out as a podcast. Steve Mathis hit me about that. So that will be happening soon. If you don't want to just sit there and watch a video, sometimes it's inconvenient. That's going to be happening very soon. Rashid Turner asked, where can we find the articles? The Buffalo Fanatics page, post them all, go looking for them. I'll always retweet mine. Max retweets his own. So if you're those, check them out. Yeah, buffalofanatics.com.
Fanatics.com. And we haven't done this in a while, Jeremy. If you go to bffanshop.com, you can get 10% off with the code. We're going to have to change this code, but the code currently is overdue. So if you go head over to the BF Fan Shop, awesome merch, awesome swag, some hoodies, awesome designs, perfect Christmas gift for a Bills fan. All the best Buffalo Fanatics merch is there, and you get 10% off at checkout with the code overdue. So make sure to do that.
Still works.
Overdue still works.
I went and got a couple things because I was like, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to rock certain Bills merch, but just in case, I went ahead and did that. So
smart.
Yeah, Twitter, that's where we're at. If you guys are curious, find us on Twitter. You can find me at BFF_Jeremy. You can find our vidcast Twitter. I believe I made it at Buff Bootleg. So not Buffalo Bootleg, at Buff Bootleg. So follow us there for any updates. In case the time changes from 6 p.m., maybe 5:30 or 6:30. Sometimes that happens, but check us out there. So Max, final words, sign off.
Final words. Bills are going to win against the Steelers, primetime. Believe it. If you believe it, it will come true. I'm Bills. I'm Max.
20,000.
I'm Max, and you can find me on Twitter at Cinco de Maxo. And Jeremy.
My name is Jeremy. You can find me on Twitter at BFF_Jeremy. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Rico's not here. All right, he's got his own show. He's got 3 of them. All right, go find him over there. We love Rico.
Come on.
Thank you guys. Go Bills.
Go Bills.